Thank you for being a friend. Travel down a road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant. I'm not ashamed to say, I hope it always will stay this way. My hat is off, won't you stand up and take a bow?
It's been a Long Island landmark for more than 50 years. The Edgewood Hospital, abandoned since the early 70s, could be seen from miles away. But at exactly 11:18 a.m., it was the last time anyone ever saw the 13-story building this way. Environmentalists hailed the clearing of the site, which is located on the environmentally sensitive land known as the Oak Brush Plains.
We're used to coming out here and watching them tear down trees and replace them with buildings. This is a real delight. We get a chance to tear down buildings and replace them with trees.
Today, the Long Island Pine Barrens Society has filed suit in New York State Supreme Court against the towns of Brookhaven, Riverhead, and Southampton, and against the Suffolk County Department of Health Services. The suit asks the court to direct our government to determine what the total effects on our Pine Barrens Preserve will be if development is permitted to continue. So building in the Pine Barrens stops right now.
What a great way to kick off Earth Day weekend, but to announce that the county has acquired the largest tract of land that we're ever going to acquire in our Clean Drinking Water Protection Program, Hampton Hills.
It used to be called the Teamsters property, then Hampton Hills. Whatever you call it, it's Suffolk's now, and it's costing the county $17.8 million. But it's money well spent, according to the county executive, who says Suffolk couldn't afford not to buy the 1,600 acres of open space.
For the neighbors and their kids, it's been a 15-year fight. Today, Governor Cuomo came to Riverhead to sign a bill making the Pine Barrens a state reserve. The eastern end of Brookhaven, the towns of Riverhead, Southold, Shelter Island, Southampton, and East Hampton, all will be watched by a commission that will help control village development.
Long Island environmentalists have gained some muscle in their fight. It's a fight to delay development in the Pine Barrens until an environmental impact study is done, and they plan to flex that muscle in court. New York State Attorney General Robert Abrams is signing on to their 2-year-old lawsuit as a friend of the court to try to block development over Suffolk's water supply.
Those who live on Long Island have a single source of supply for their water. That's this precious aquifer, and it is endangered.
Abrams joins dozens of groups in Long Island's largest ever environmental lawsuit. The goal is to stop the towns of Brookhaven, Riverhead, and Southampton from allowing more than 200 development projects in the Pine Barrens, the land that sits atop the source of Long Island's purest groundwater.
We're afraid what will happen is exactly what's happened in Nassau and Western Suffolk. That is, the water's not drinkable.
Imagine we went to war over oil. Imagine what's going to happen when we don't have clean drinking water.
During the one-hour hearing, the 4 appellate justices had tough questions for both sides. Lead environmental attorney Michael Gerard was pressed on why a broad new study would be needed or practical when years of other research projects have already tackled the groundwater issue. Gerard stood his ground. But attorney Leon Laser, a former appellate judge himself, was sharply challenged by the panel. Justice William Thompson asked why a generic environmental study wouldn't be reasonable in view of the huge amount of sensitive land. Justice Thomas Sullivan wondered whether large-scale contamination of the groundwater would create an economic disaster of its own. And the panel attacked Brookhaven town's attorney for suggesting that towns have no legal obligation to study the overall effect of Pine Barrens development.
The room of environmentalists roared with a sense of victory. It has been a long time in coming, and they relished the moment. In a 3-2 decision, the state appellate court ruled that not one of the 250 development projects in the Pine Barrens can begin until the cumulative environmental impact of all of them is studied.